The next flow of control statement that we're going to look at is called a switch statement. At one level, it's a bit of a generalization of an if-then-else, because you can accomplish pretty much the same thing with an if-then-else. But structurally, for certain particular control flow, the switch statement is more elegant and the code that you obtain is more readable. So in a switch statement, basically you switch on an integral expression. So a simple one might be the integer I, and then you have a bunch of cases. And those cases can be critical cases where you want to do different things depending on some small value of I. So let's look at an example. Here's an example. We have the keyword switch. Then we have an integer expression I, which would have to have a value before we enter here. And then we have what effectively are three cases. We have case, a keyword, with an integer constant. So in this case, it's the constant 1, a colon, and then we have a series of statements that will get executed if I was equal to 1. In this case, we have a simple assignment statement, A equals 2 times I. And then we have this special flow of control statement, break. And what break means is if you get here, jump to the next statement that goes after this closing brace. And this is idiomatic. If you didn't have the break here, you would have what's called fall-through semantics. So imagine if break was no longer here. Then you would execute case 2, and there you would have A assigned 3 times I, at which point you'd have a break. Okay, so here the notion is there are three things we want to do. Either I is 1, I is 2, or I is some other value. For another value, there's the special keyword, which constitutes everything else, called a default, colon, and again you have some series of statements, in this case a single statement, and then you fall out of the case. So what you're looking at syntactically is switch, an integral expression, can't be floating point, it must be integral, but it could be something like a short or a long int or a ASCII value for a character. And then you have the series of cases that are going to be enclosed in these braces. And the braces sort of act like a block. And the cases act what we call case labels. They basically tell you the switch jumps to 1 of a number. And if that expression is not seen in this list, then you go to the default. If there is no default, then you just don't do anything and you leave. So normally, idiomatically again, you would typically have cases delineated by breaks and then finally a default. That is your standard switch statement.